Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we've done this.
We're off to an excellent start.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Wandering Works for Us. We are Shelley and Beth, a married couple living in Portugal and traveling the world. These are our stories. Hello, everybody. It's Wandering Works for Us. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Beth.
And we're back. We have been gone for what seems like a long time. I hope everyone is subscribing to this so they'll get this new podcast.
Indeed.
We had a visitor come visit us. Hey, Julie.
Hi, Jules. Yes, we had somebody here for 2 weeks, but even before that, we didn't record for a week or two before that.
Yeah, we kind of ran out of things to talk about.
Well, and we were kind of waiting on Julie's visit to, go to some places a second time and have more to say. So.
Oh, yeah, because we go to places once, but it's good to go more than once to get the real feel of the place.
So here we are, and we are going to talk about Porto.
We've been to Porto
A few times now.
A few times, yes.
And Porto is north of us. It is still very close to the ocean and is on the Douro River and is 2.5 hours north of us. So it is not too far from the northern border with Spain.
Yeah.
And we really, really love it there.
We do. We enjoy it.
We like it a lot. It is, I was going to say less crazy than Lisbon. I
would not agree.
No, I don't think it's less crazy.
It's a little nuts.
The crazy is confined to a smaller area.
Yes.
Maybe that's, slightly smaller.
Or it could be it's in pockets or something we haven't seen.
Porto is the second largest city in Portugal. Second to Lisbon, of course. It's got a lot of, as
hills.
Every plate. Yes.
It has a lot of hills.
It has a lot of hills. Basically, almost the entire city starts really high and then goes down until it gets to the river. And there's the Porto side and there is the Gaia side. Mm-hmm. And we'll be talking more about that. But it is a really great place to visit, or as some of our friends say, live.
Oh, that's true. We do have a few people that live in
We do.
Porto.
And we should say,
hey, Julie and Rob.
hi, guys.
Yeah, we were able to have lunch with them, too, while we were there.
We were. It was a lot of fun. And see their sweet pupper, Gigi. They flew over with us on the private plane.
Yes.
And brought their dogs.
Yeah, so it was nice to see them on that trip.
It was.
All right, let's get into it. Porto. Like we said, we live about 45 minutes north of Lisbon. It took us about 2.5 hours to drive it. If you're coming in from Lisbon, it takes about a 3-hour train ride from the main train station. If you take the fast train.
Yes, which we've done.
Yes, and that's not a bad ride at all.
Oh, no, it's nice. And, tip, it is not that much more to book what is called here first class and reserve your seat. You should do that because
it's worth the money.
Yeah, you get a reserved seat, you get bigger seats. You have Wi-Fi, which I think you have in the other carriages too. Maybe not.
I think you do.
Do you?
Yeah.
But it's just a lot nicer for not a whole lot more money.
No.
Plus,
I don't think so.
Your seat is reserved, so if you need to get up and go to the bathroom and it happens to be at a stop, nobody's going to take your seat.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to their own seat.
Unless, of course, somebody gets on at the stop and mistakes what car they're in.
Yeah, we have had that.
Which happened to us in Italy.
Yeah.
But the train is easy. The bus is easy to take. It's a 3-hour bus ride. Our friend Carrie took the bus from Lisbon to Porto. She said it was an easy ride. Wi-Fi on the bus.
Yeah.
Piece of cake. You, of course, could drive it if you're renting a car and you're doing a several-day romp. Or you could do what Julie did. and just fly into Porto.
Yeah.
They do have an airport.
Porto does have an international airport. It's smaller than Lisbon.
Much easier to navigate.
I was going to say, we've been to the Lisbon airport many times now, and we have learned that airport, and we know how to navigate it. But we went into the Porto airport for the first time recently when we picked up Julie, and it was very easy to navigate. It's smaller, it's less crowded, or at least when we were there.
Way less crowded.
Yeah, and it was a great airport. It would be a really good trip to fly into Porto, work your way down, and eventually, wherever you are, end up in Lisbon, and then fly out of Lisbon.
Or in Faro. They do have an airport in Faro in the Algarve if you're planning to go that far. But I would say that if you're going to do all of that, you need to be here more than a week.
Oh, goodness, yes.
We see so many people make these itineraries that they're just hitting city after city, in a week's time.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's overdoing it, in our opinion.
Yes. You don't get to enjoy the nuances of any particular place when you are fast traveling or cramming it all in, or, whatever euphemism you want to use. But
I'd say take the attitude of you're coming back at some point, or if you enjoy what you see here in Portugal enough that you want to come back and see some more.
Right.
Yeah. My parents always had the attitude of, we may never come back. We must see it all. And I don't think that works as well.
Mm-mm. Well, the problem is you forget, everything gets mushed together in your mind and you don't remember individual details. There's a lot of, I'm going to call them, you hit the first tier must-see sites when you travel like that, or at least most of them, but you don't get to any of the second or third tier sites or places or restaurants or whatever. And we find those so often to be
better than the big stuff.
So much more enjoyable and memorable. So we are big, our name is Wandering Works for us. So obviously we are big proponents of leaving some time in your schedule to wander, to rest, to sit at a cafe and have a coffee or a glass of wine and just let it soak into you.
Yeah. I know that when Julie was here, she flew in on a Friday morning. We picked her up. We kept her awake for most of the day. The next day we were go, go, go. The day after that we were go, go, go. The day after that we were coming home, but we were still stopping at cities and checking things out. And then about middle of the week when she was here, she was like, what did we do on Monday? What did we do while we were in Porto? She had to sit and think, and she didn't have time to soak it in. And I think you definitely need that.
Yeah, I think you do. Now, everybody doesn't have the luxury of time, or for that matter, money. But I think it's better to see less and enjoy it more. And not return home so exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our opinion about the best times to go to Porto are between, April and October, maybe. Now,
I would say May and October.
It gets really crowded in, end of July, all of August, maybe that first week of September.
Yeah.
Now, when we say really crowded, it's always really crowded, but it gets more crowded during those times because that's when the Europeans are taking their vacations. Any time outside of that, Shelley says May because she doesn't like to be cold.
And it rains here.
But I'm okay with that. So I would be okay with April.
It doesn't rain as much in April. That's true.
It does not.
But there are a lot of people I've seen on the Facebook groups lately that are complaining they're coming next week because it's Easter week and they get a week off and they're coming. And they're calling for rain all next week.
Yeah.
And that is tough to see, a city in the rain. Yeah. I caught a cold in Porto because it was raining.
But then again, it could be, 20 degrees Celsius and sunny and beautiful. You just never know.
For about 5 minutes.
It's
and in that 5 minutes is glorious.
Now, October was a really nice time to go when we went there in October.
Yeah.
Because it was still warm during the day and it wasn't as crowded.
It was actually hot during the day. Yeah.
It actually was a little hot, but we really liked October there.
October was probably the best one because
Yeah.
we've been in August and October, February and March, and I would say October was the best time.
Yeah, I would agree. Now, we may have just hit it unlucky in March that it rained every day when we were just there, but you know, it's a chance you take
Maybe
in
so.
March
Yeah.
and into
Well,
April.
we had some great weather here in February.
We did.
And you know, and I was so excited, but all the locals said this is not normal.
Yes,
it's
they
going to
did.
get cold.
They-
It's going to get rainy.
they said,
and
"Hang
it's here.
on."
It's
Yep.
cold and rainy.
Oh, and by the way, we are in, well, if we weren't counting leap year, we are in Portugal 1 year today.
Woohoo!
It's for date wise, it's really tomorrow because we have a leap year and we're getting together with some friends to do a big toast and say thank you. But, you know, happy anniversary to us.
Yes, happy anniversary to us.
It's been an incredible year. So let's talk about some of our favorite things to do in Porto.
Well, I actually wanted to talk about two things we haven't talked about.
Oh, okay.
Number one, a lot of people ask if Porto or anywhere else in Lisbon is safe. And if you're coming from the United States or the UK, I can see why you asked that question.
Yeah.
But Portugal as a whole is very safe. I mean, we walked around Lisbon and Porto, having several glasses of wine, getting back to our place with no problem. I would say it's extremely safe, but there are pickpockets, especially in Lisbon. But in the touristy areas,
Yeah.
you just got to keep an eye on your
In the
things.
tourist areas.
Stay sober in the tourist areas.
Well, you don't have to say sober. You just have to stay sober enough.
Sober enough
you know.
to keep an eye on your money and
Yeah.
everything.
But it is definitely petty theft kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just pickpocketing.
You know, pickpocketing.
Or trying to scam you into buy something.
Yeah,
you know.
or if you get out of your car and you're locking a bunch of stuff in your trunk because you don't want to carry it, people may be watching that and then they're going to break into your car.
Yes.
So plan that ahead of time. Get the stuff in the trunk you need in the trunk before
Don't-
you pull into your parking place.
Don't have anything in full view
Yeah.
in your car.
Yeah. And, you know, you'll be fine. I mean, Portugal is the 6th safest country in the world. So, and the United States, for example, is, I don't know, 128th or something.
Well, down there.
So it's a very safe place, but in the more touristy areas, there is pickpocketing and things like that.
And as for getting around the city, we usually use the app Bolt. Now, from what I understand, you've got to go through some rigmarole of downloading Uber Eats or Bolt Eats before you download the app Bolt. But it's like Uber. So they have taxis in Porto, they have Uber, and they have Bolt. Personally speaking, Bolt to me is much cheaper. I haven't had any issues with them at all. And we use them mainly because we have walked all the way down the hill. We have had several glasses of wine, and we're not walking back up the hill.
That's right. And I mean, you know, walk is not strong enough. Hiking, puffing back up the hill. Yeah, we've had really good luck with Bolt. And, you know, sometimes taxis are about the same price. I mean, if you're into checking the prices, check them all and then book which whenever you like. Now, they do also have a train, a metro system, if you will. We personally find the one in Porto more confusing.
It just seems more confusing to navigate because you have to buy tickets for districts instead of just buying a ticket that's going to cost €2 to take you across town.
Yeah,
So it's different prices for different districts.
yeah,
and
so you just have to kind
we
of,
just-
you have to use your brain and figure it out. But
I'm sure it's easy for most of you out there. For
we-
me, I was like,
I guess
nope.
we were comparing it to Lisbon, and
Oh,
the
Lisbon's is much
Lisbon
easier.
Metro is just a dream.
Yes.
It is so easy. So, but they also have a bus system. They have a funicular that'll get you from the bottom of the Gaia side, where all the port is along the river there, the port wine houses, up to the top where the metro station is. We've done that. And then there's the ever-present tuk-tuks, which we've talked about before. Those are like sort of glorified motorcycles with
Or golf carts.
or
yeah.
golf carts with seats on the back. And I'm talking bench seats. I mean, it's not like you're just on the back of a motorcycle. Those are always around. Sometimes you can just use them to get from one place to another if you happen to be in a place to do that.
Okay, places we'd love to visit in Porto.
Yes.
First of all, the Lello bookstore.
Yes, the Livraria
That's the bookstore in Portuguese.
Lello. It is just one of the most beautiful bookstores in the world. It's incredible.
It is.
It's small.
And for the most part, a lot of people will tell you, baby, skip it. I will say that if you love bookstores or you're a Harry Potter fan, go check it out. Now, it has nothing to do with Harry Potter. A lot of people are kind of saying, oh, J.K. Rowling had inspiration from this place when she was writing in Porto, because she did write the first 5 chapters of the first book in Porto.
And
she was here.
that hasn't been disproved. It just hasn't been proved.
Yeah, well, she hasn't even, admitted it or said anything about it yet. So.
But they lean into it hard.
Oh, they lean into it very hard. And they should, because it does look like something out of Diagon Alley.
Yes, it does.
So it's really cool. We've been there twice. I say twice is enough, really, for me to get the feel of it or anybody to get the feel of it. But if we had a guest come and they wanted to see it again, I'd probably go.
Well, and the architecture of it, of the staircase, of the bookcases, it's a mixture of Gothic and Art Nouveau. And it is, if you really like architecture in those times, it is exquisite.
And of course, you could Google the pictures. You can go to our social media and see them, because they are incredible. It's incredible, but it's also kind of crowded. And we were there once. Well, yeah. Well, okay. So it is crowded. It was more crowded in August when we went. It was really hard to get through the bookstore. Everybody's stopping to take pictures on the stairs. It was just crammed in there. In March, we could at least move.
Yes.
And we got a decent picture or two on the stairs, too.
We did.
But, yeah, it's pretty crowded.
And it's actually still a bookstore.
Oh, you can buy all kinds of stuff in there, yeah.
And so...
And they have books in English?
They do. They have books in English. They also have, as we said, they're leaning into the Harry Potter connection. They have the Harry Potter series in, I don't know, maybe 10 languages.
They have some really neat editions of things in there, especially classics.
Yes. If you buy the cheapest ticket, which I think was €8 a piece for us, maybe a little more than that.
I want to say the entrance ticket might be $5, but you don't get anything.
Okay, and then you can move up to one which is 8 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
Where you get €8 off of any book that you purchase, and one per ticket. Then there's a next step up where you can pay a little more, and you get one of their books. They have these beautiful small editions of classics that are just, gilded gold, not real gold, but, gold edged and beautiful illustrations. And so you can pick out whichever one you want of those in several different languages. I have done both, where we got that special edition book and paid more. And then we did the ticket where we got $8 off this last time. I kind of liked doing both. I'm not sure which I preferred.
No, it doesn't matter, I don't think.
Yeah. Look on their website and see what you think would be better.
If you're a book lover, you're going to want €8 off a book. And in case you're wondering what that weird sound is, Scoot is upset that we're talking without him. So yeah, I think he might want to be included.
That's our bulldog. Bless. So, we recommend going in there if you love bookstores, if you love that kind of architecture. It would be better if you didn't go in July or August so that you can move around more. But if that is your only choice and you really want to do it, do it, because it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm glad we did it.
Yeah. And then after you finish the bookstore, just up the hill and around the corner is an incredible church.
Yes.
With
beautiful tiles.
Yeah, tile work on, the front and the sides, but one of the sides that you see when you walk up to it. It's just blue and white tile. It is really gorgeous.
The church is called the Igreja do Carmo.
Oh, very good.
I went to Portuguese class today and worked on my pronunciation.
There you go. And that basically means the Carmel Church, which is great. I love that.
We love Carmel. We've never been inside of it, but we have great pictures of the outside.
Yeah, those are on our blog. But the blue and white tile is incredible.
And that'll be on our list of one of the things we should go in and look at next time we're in Porto.
We should.
We've done a great deal of Porto. It's time to start looking at the little things.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And then do you pronounce it Clérigos?
Clérigos, because the accent's on the E. Clérigos Tower and church.
It's one of the tallest things when you're in Portugal, and first of all, it is an incredible piece of architecture just on its own, but you can go and climb it.
It is a recognizable tower in the middle of town.
It is.
And you can climb up it. We have not. Karina.
Hi, Karina.
Hi, Karina. When she came to Porto, she got up and climbed it, 240 stairs, said it was really narrow.
Yes.
But the views were great.
Yes. So if you're into climbing up in the towers and seeing the view, then go for it.
Now, personally speaking, the only other tower that I climbed in Porto was the one at the cathedral.
Oh, yes.
So that kind of just runs us into the cathedral, but
yeah.
Which is a little further south down the way in Porto as you're heading down the hill. But the Porto Cathedral is amazing. It is quite beautiful. It was one of the first places that we visited. The cloisters, the architecture, the tile work is amazing. You know, we've seen a lot of churches.
Because I love them.
We've seen a lot. But climb the tower there, you get great views from there.
Yeah, and it's also one of the oldest structures in the city. So it has a lot of history in there, and you really learn a lot.
We're having an interesting evening.
With our bulldog. Now he's running around and
he's chasing the cat.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
Well, I kind of skipped ahead to the Porto Cathedral because if you're touring in Porto, my advice to you is start at the top of the hill and work your way down.
Yes.
If you're wanting an itinerary, we're actually working on that for the blog post. So just let us know. But yeah, my advice, and even I want to say Rick Steve's advice, is start at the top, go down.
Yeah.
So once you're at the Clérigos Tower and you move over a little bit west, you end up at the Porto sign.
Yes.
Which is just outside of
Liberdade Square.
Yes, this is the Liberdade Square.
Yeah. And so it's one of those big giant, signs that says Porto that everybody wants a picture with. But it's a beautiful square, and it is, of course, fun to get a picture. And the buildings around it, I think, are interesting.
It's a beautiful square,
yeah,
anyway.
It's really nice to see. And then just right down from there
is the McDonald's and the Bento if you're heading down the hill.
Yes.
Now, if you want to head a little tiny bit up the hill and a little bit over, we highly recommend that you hit the Mercado Bolhão. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
We loved that. It was our first time there this past time.
The first time we went to Porto, they were reconstructing it. They were redoing it. It was going to become a new building and a new structure. And we just happened to be in the neighborhood because we were meeting our friends, Julie and Rob. And we were going to have lunch. And I was like, let's walk down to this market. Oh, my gosh, it's an amazing market. Now, it looks like it's built for tourists when you're there in the afternoon because nobody's buying anything.
Well, we did.
Yeah, we did.
But the meats, the cheeses,
the seafood,
the wine,
the vegetables, the fruit, the flowers.
Oh, the flowers are gorgeous. And then there's
crafts.
crafts. There's hot sauce. There's
Olive oil.
I found a really good vanilla bean from Madagascar because the ones in the grocery store are not from there, and I wanted a really nice quality one to try and make my own vanilla. And so I found one there. I mean, it was just really
It's beautiful.
great.
And even if you're not looking to buy anything because maybe you're staying in the hotel and not an Airbnb, or you're there for the day, even stop, get a glass of wine and a cheese plate.
Yes, as a lot of the cheese places had where you could order a cheese plate and they would give you these, either 3 varieties or 5 varieties or whatever, cubes, and then you got, or slices, and then you got crackers, and then you can get a glass of wine, and it's a lovely little lunch.
It was. And they also have restaurants like a floor above it, too.
Yes, they do.
So this is an incredible market. I highly recommend go see it, go buy fresh fruit. And if it's nice and sunny, as opposed to raining as it is right this minute, don't know if you can hear it or not.
Yes.
I would definitely have a picnic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, there was also bread there. We didn't say that, but they did have bread. They basically
they had everything
you can want for a picnic or for, a meat and cheese plate or anything
or
like
dinner that night.
Yeah, it was really nice. And we saw seafood there that we have not seen very often in Portugal.
That's true. And we live in a seafood town. Or
Yes.
close to one.
Yes,
so
we do.
They had some crab and oysters and something else I can't remember off the top of my head that I have not seen at the seafood markets.
Yes. So we highly recommend that. It was a really good place to go. Shelley, do you know how to pronounce this lookout spot? I think it's Miraduro de Vitória.
Let's see, Vitória. Vitória. And it is just a basic outlook as you're walking down the hill. So if you're planning on starting at the top and you're moving your way down the hill toward the Liberdade district, you're going to find this lookout. And it's just a beautiful place to stop and take a picture of the whole city. If you actually look it up on your Google Maps, you're going to find it. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
But it's kind of also off away from Bento. So we didn't run into it as we were headed towards Bento, the train station or the cathedral that's there. It's kind of off to the east. It's more toward, I'd say more toward the ocean than it is.
Yeah.
But not that far. Porto's not that big.
Yeah. But if you are looking for some nice views to photograph, it's a good one.
I would check that out.
Yeah.
Especially if you've come from the Lello bookstore and you're headed down that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. Now, the Bento railway station is, well, nothing short of incredible.
It is, just for a railway station.
Yeah, it has when you walk in, it has an entrance hall, but it's more like a ballroom size with
It's
50
huge, yeah.
foot ceilings or something. And it has historic blue and white tiles that tell
azulejos.
Yes, that they depict a lot of the historical and cultural scenes from the past. It's almost like a museum, really.
It's a great place to go see those tiles, and it's a mural. It's a depiction of some history of Porto.
Yeah, and the architecture of the station is also beautiful. And then, you add in those tiles and the arched windows, and it is really worth going and seeing. Now, when I was there just a month ago, not the most recent trip, but the one before that, when I met Karina, they are doing a lot of construction. They are adding a metro line in Porto.
I think the pink line or something.
Yeah, and then they're adding also a bus line or something, and they have that place around Bento and some other areas close to there have big walls up and detours, and it's a little difficult to drive in there right now. But
maybe by the end of the summer, it won't be so bad.
yeah, and persevere. We think it's
worth it.
Walking around to the other side or wherever you have to walk to get into São Bento and see those tiles because they are gorgeous.
If you're coming from the Porto sign and you're coming down the road toward São Bento, stop into the McDonald's that's right there. Yeah, I know.
Which is a very weird recommendation from us.
Yeah, but oh my God, it's like the fanciest McDonald's.
Yes.
Ever.
That's because it used to be this really nice restaurant and hotel.
It is chandeliers in it.
I know. It is no longer. It is a historic building. And McDonald's is now in the bottom floor of it. And one of the things that they could not do was change the murals, take down the chandeliers, do any of that stuff. So they have kind of incorporated into that. People say it's the fanciest McDonald's on the planet. So anyway, it's just kind of fun to go in there.
It's fun just to go in and take some pictures.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at São Bento, there are two ways you can approach this next part. You can either keep walking down the hill toward the Liberdade district, which is down by the waterfront.
On the Porto side.
On the Porto side. Or you can hop a metro and go across the Don Luis First Bridge. And that takes you to the upper part of Gaia. We've done both.
On the other side of the river.
Yes. So if you take the metro and you go across, or if you feel like walking, I think you can walk up there too. I think that you can walk across the upper part of that bridge.
Oh, you can.
So instead of taking the train. And what a view that is from the upper part.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Well, and the lower part.
Both of them, either way. The lower part feels safer because you're so much lower to the ground. But the upper part is an amazing view. And it takes you into the upper part of, Vila Nova da Gaia. And they have a great park up there to watch the sunset. There is a beautiful cafe up there in which to have drinks. And I'm sure some other things that you can do up there. That's all we've done. Oh, there's a monastery, but the monastery's not open. But you can get some great photos from up there.
Yeah, the reason to go hike up that hill is to get the photos. The views of the river are incredible. And also that restaurant, we have it linked in our blog, but it's called the Esplanada do Teleferico.
It's probably about taking pictures, but
yeah.
Vila Nova da Gaia is a really neat place to explore, and we haven't done a great deal of exploring that area except down on the port side where all the port wine bars and everything are.
Yeah, they call them caves.
Oh, the port caves.
Yeah, the port caves.
Which we'll get to in just a minute.
Yes, we will.
But you can take a funicular down from the high part to the low part. It's kind of a cable car little thing.
Yes.
I talked Beth into doing it once. She doesn't want to do it ever again.
Well, just because I'm not a heights girl and, I don't ride Ferris wheels and that kind of thing. I will weirdly ride a roller coaster, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, this one's slow and, you can also just feel the movement of it. And if it's really windy, it gets kind of creepy up there.
Yeah.
But it is a lovely view of the river as you're coming down.
And hundreds of people do it per day.
Every day.
So it's not like it's a sketchy thing.
It is not a big deal.
I just didn't love it.
And then it puts you right in the middle of the port caves.
Yeah,
and the shopping district.
The shops, there's restaurant, there's almost always, except unless it's pouring rain, there are people set out tables or blankets and they sell things along the riverfront there. And we've actually found some good stuff there. Cork products and it's all
cute little souvenirs.
It's souvenir stuff, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty neat. And they do this on both sides of the river. So we kind of skipped the Ribeira District Park, which is almost the same, but not the same as Vila Nova da Gaia.
It doesn't have the port caves,
no,
but it has tons of restaurants and bars.
And the Mercado is set up at certain times, usually in the summer, every day, but on the weekends, I think, on the riverside. Yeah, so you can still do your shopping and get a great glass of wine and get a great dinner, but make sure you make reservations wherever you're going. And if you want some restaurant recommendations check our blog out. We made a bunch of them, places that we actually have been that we like. So I would definitely recommend doing that. But for the most part, and the port caves. I enjoyed the port caves. Now, the first few times we've been to Porto, we didn't do that. We wanted to, but then we realized that we really need to make reservations in order to have a port tasting.
Yes.
Now, there's one time that we, in our whatever state, decided that we wanted to have a port tasting, and we asked this guy on the street who was basically a maitre d' of the restaurant or whatever.
Yes.
And he's like, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah,
and he
come
brings
on
out
in.
like 6 samples of port, and he doesn't pour us a little bit.
Yeah,
He
and we
pours
said we
half
want
a glass of port.
We said we want to share one, and so he poured us double
He poured
portions.
it, yes.
Yeah. So
And we were a little drunk by the time we got up and walked
that was a
off.
fun time.
It was a fun time.
Yeah. But you can visit all of these different port caves, and I don't know total how many there are.
Right now, I'm going to tell you there's at least 12.
Yeah. I was going to say at least 10, if not 12.
I'm working on a little spreadsheet.
Oh,
for
okay.
them now.
Excellent. Well, I've been to 2 of them. One was Sandeman, which is a very popular port that we can buy the more common ones of Sandeman. We can buy those here. And
you can buy them in America, too.
yeah,
They are
that's right. You
popular in
can.
America,
You can buy them in America. And they have a really good tour. Then you get to do a port tasting. The one that I did, I was with Karina, and we did the one where we tasted 3 ports afterwards. And there is such a thing as a blonde port, which a lot of people don't know, a ruby port, which is the traditional dark red one that you've seen before, and then what's called a tawny port.
It's my favorite.
And it happens to be our favorite. It is a very light red, not very light. It is a medium red. Noticeably, if you've got it next to a ruby, it is half as red as that. But we did that. We enjoyed the tour. The tours are not expensive. They sell out pretty quickly in the summer, so make sure you're planning ahead for that. And then I brought home a 20-year tawny, which is...
wait for that.
They also had a 30-year and a 40-year, but, I sprang for the 20. And we're going to use part of it tomorrow night to toast our 1-year anniversary in Portugal. So that'll be cool. So we really learned a lot about how port is made and stored and aged and all of that. And we highly recommend doing one of those. Even if you're someone who doesn't like to do, quote, touristy things, unquote.
I wouldn't call that touristy at all.
I wouldn't, but a lot of tourists do it.
Yeah.
And
that's what you come to Porto to do.
Yeah. And you can do a tour in English or Portuguese or French or German. You can pick your language. So whatever language you would like to do it in, you can pick that when you book the tour. Do book it.
Yes, book it in advance. Absolutely. So if you're a wine lover, being in Porto is one of the best things ever, because no matter where you go, you're going to have access to great wine.
You do, and which is generally true all over Portugal, but sort of especially there with all the port. It's a really great experience. So Porto is certainly one of our favorite cities in Portugal, and we always discover new things when we're there. As I was talking about the first tier, second tier, third tier, they probably have a 4th and 5th and 6th tier, and we haven't gotten to any of that stuff yet. But it's the kind of city that you can visit over and over and over again and always discover something new and always drink great port.
Oh, always, definitely. The only thing I would say about Porto right now is A, it just takes too long to get there right now. And B, there's so many hills. But once you get there, the magic of Porto is just wonderful.
Mean it takes us a long time to get there because we're driving now.
Yes.
But it might not necessarily take our listeners too long.
Well, they get on a plane and come on over here, so I think it might be taking longer.
Oh, well, true. True that.
Yeah.
True that. So we
I
highly
shouldn't complain about 2.5 hours.
Yes. So
Probably not.
as Shelley said, we have lots of recommendations on this blog post for that: restaurants, tours, all kinds of different things.
Day trips from Porto.
Yeah.
The Douro Wine Valley's on there, but there's some other places that are great to go if you're going to stay more than 3 days in Porto.
Yeah.
Which I
So
highly recommend you do. I mean, take your time. Porto's a wonderful city.
it is.
We love it.
We do.
So I guess that's it. We're going to wrap it up.
We
We're
are.
wrapping it up. All right. So we have, as we said before, traveled to a lot of places this past week. Our next podcast, we're probably going to talk to you more in depth about the Douro Valley and talk also about the wine caves. And then after that, we are probably going to pop down to Evora, maybe?
Yeah.
That is
Evora?
a possibility. Yep.
That would be
Because that was a really neat city, the Treasure Bones. That
Yes.
was really cool.
that was fun. Yeah, we've got 4
We
or
got
5
several
podcasts to get out to
we
you
got to
guys.
get out to you guys. So be looking forward to that. All right.
All
I
right.
believe that's it for the evening.
Okay.
Okay. So for all of you out there listening, please subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Go to our social media. If you want to see the pictures, social media is the best place to go. We also have a YouTube channel. Just come out and support us. Anything that you can do would really help because we love all of you. And I guess we will see you soon. Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you would like to reach out to us or ask questions, you can find us on our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also follow us at our website, www.forus.com. That's www.forus.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Obrigada!